Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being a part of our Helping Communities Flourish event this morning. First and foremost, I want to, of course, thank Giant Eagle, PNC, Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, and PPG for always supporting the Allegheny Conference with all of our member events and additional events we do. Today, we are here primarily to speak about investing in communities, whether ideally through tax credits, but also through strategic partnerships and other opportunities. At this time, we are going to launch breakout rooms. Each breakout room will be based on communities who are pursuing specific tax credits. We have breakout room with the Neighborhood Assistance Program. It's a one-year tax credit program. We have breakout room 2 with the Special Program Priorities Tax Credit, another one-year tax credit program. And we have breakout room 3, the Neighborhood Partnership Program, which is a multi-year tax credit. And it's also one of the ones that really infuses these long-term partnerships and investments. So in a moment, we will launch the breakout rooms. I do want to let everyone know that we are recording today's session. So if you'd like to hear a presentation that was given or missed one because you're in another room, we will be sending those out so you'll be able to hear them as follow-up. In addition, I would also like to remind everyone as we move to breakout room, we will have the Allegheny Conference staff in the rooms to manage each room. And so please be sure to keep your phone, your video and your microphone off until it's time for you to speak. At the end of the presentations, we will also have time for you to ask questions of the community presenters. So at that time, you would be welcome to turn your microphone on and speak. And at this moment, if we can go ahead and launch the breakout rooms, and then we can proceed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here today. First up, I would like to introduce Marimba Malayans of the Hill CDC to talk about the amazing work that they're doing in the Hill District. Marimba, take it away.
Thank you, Becky. I'm really excited to be here to share a little bit about the Hill CDC. We are focused on revitalizing the Hill District neighborhood. So many of you, of course, know that the Hill District is right in the heart of our city. It's 1,100 acres of land, and it is a ripe opportunity for both development, but also working in partnership with the community to realize its master plan and its vision for itself. Of course, it is the center of it all as we think of it, with $2.5 billion of economic opportunity happening over the next 10 years. All of our work is guided by our Greater Hill District Master Plan, which is our community's vision for itself. It's currently being updated and formally adopted by the city of Pittsburgh. Our master plan is segmented in 2 specific categories. One is program initiatives, which includes the softer side of community development. So that's history, that's art, that's play, that's urban agriculture, and then you have the urban core, the urban design proposals, and those are our land use proposals. And so we are really focused on at the Hill CDC, the land use proposals and economic development proposals. Now, we partner with other community organizations to make sure that our community plan can be met. Once we completed our master plan, we quickly learned that it's a great vision document, but that we needed a clear implementation plan to develop the center, the main street in our community, which is Center Avenue. So in the Hill District, we call it the Ave. So when you think of Center Avenue, it runs from downtown all the way, of course, to the east end. But in the Hill District, it is our main street. And so we have been focused on its revitalization. And in fact, our vision for the community that we did with the community was named as one of the top 10 architectural products by AIA Pittsburgh. Our work specifically is focused on people, place, and policy. We build up the people while we build up the place, and we advocate for equitable development policy. And I always say, policy is what gets us in trouble, but it's good trouble, because it takes a lot to do community development. It requires you to be able to navigate very complex deals and communities that are oftentimes in need. And so we are really committed to making sure that we build the most vibrant Pittsburgh possible. We do that by and through focusing on culture, commerce, and innovation. So under culture, you'll see art, food, artist housing, entertainment, and artist enclave that we're working on. Commerce includes our main street. It includes the redevelopment of New Granada Square. And then, of course, we work with over 100 entrepreneurs a year doing industry-based business programming. And last but not least, we really are very much interested, because of our location and because of our distinct ability to connect with residents, connecting innovation to community in a unique way. So this is the New Granada Square. This is our key project. We are focused on redeveloping this $45 million project right in the heart of our community. It has been endorsed by the community, but here we have 40 artist apartments to the right with 5,000 square feet of commercial space on the first floor and the restoration of the historic New Granada building. And that, of course, is going to be anchored by the University of Pittsburgh's Community Engagement Center, where they will have a number of programs across both the historic building as well as this newly constructed building called New Granada Offices. So we're really excited about bringing this development. We'll be breaking ground within the next 45 days on this project. This is just the rear. On the Wiley Avenue view, you can see that there's parking. You can see that there's the entrance to the Community Engagement Center. And then, of course, you see that there's even like a rooftop concept here, which we think we need more of here in Pittsburgh. But we're very excited for this development as we are developing in partnership with a number of both government partners and neighborhood partners, the rest of our commercial corridor. This is a picture of the actual artist apartment building. This will be, we paired a classically trained architect with a Hill District artist, and this is what we got, and we're so pleased with it. We think it really just honors the African-American cultural legacy and the innovation in design, as well as just being a real statement piece to signal that we are building a community that is really very forward-thinking. Here are our business programs. Our business programs are industry-based. So of course, Hill Builds is construction industry-based. Hill's Kitchen is food-based. Hill Tech Society is tech-based. So these are our small business programs. These are some of our participants. As I mentioned, we work with over 100 participants a year. I just wanted to make sure people, know we know that we're in recovery. We have been tending to our small business community. We're very passionate about them getting the support they need. We were fortunate to receive a $100,000 grant from the Hillman Foundation to invest right back into our residents, our Main Street businesses, as well as creatives and green space projects. And this is just our, last but not least, our home ownership program, our affordable home ownership program is about buying and revitalizing dilapidated properties in our neighborhood. And these are just some of the before and afters that I wanted to share with everyone today. So we try to do high quality so that everyone who is in our program really receives a quality home. So the Hill District, a historic community in a historic moment. And we are asking you to be a part by being a partner. Thank you.
At this time, though, I'd like to move forward and invite Brittany Arena, the Executive Director of the Sharpsburg Neighborhood Association, to join us and present about Sharpsburg.
Great.
Brittany, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Sorry.
I'm Brittany Arena. I'm the Executive Director of Sharpsburg Neighborhood Organization. You can go on to the next slide, Becky. I'm going to have a lot of you can go on to the next slide, Becky's, during this. So thanks for moving with me. Go back one, Becky.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm here actually on behalf of the Triborough Eco District, which is a collaboration between organizations in Millvale, Etna, and Sharpsburg to talk about what we're calling the Rivertown Resilience Project, which we think can be a model for a green economy that leaves no one behind. Next slide. A little bit about the Triborough Eco District. We are a group of organizations collaborating around shared issues in Millvale, Etna, and Sharpsburg. We are all pretty small Allegheny River towns of about 3,500 people, and we've found that when we work together on advocacy, on programming, we are typically stronger and get better results for our residents. So that's why we're working together. Next slide. As you can see, some of these shared issues are more visible than others. A lot of them stem from the collapse of the steel industry and the ancillary industries that largely supported our local economies. But we also have these persistent and actually worsening issues with flooding. Most of these photos are from the past 2 or 3 years and really show the extent to which flooding traumatizes our community, landslides wipe out our houses, which are already vulnerable, and we've been dealing with blight for some time. Next slide. So this is a rough amalgamation of the issues that we're dealing with. We've started lumping them in these buckets, which are super intersectional in nature. So one issue might fall under water most obviously, but then that has an impact on food access, on energy, air quality, mobility, all of that. But next slide. we decided that the issue of equity is really our umbrella issue that needs to be addressed in each of these issues, because if we're perpetuating the same problems on the same people who are already disadvantaged by the system, then we are not doing good work at all. And it's important to us that we keep that at the forefront of our work. Next slide. So we've been laying the groundwork for the past 5 years, or really the past 7 years, working on community plans. We've each passed a resident-driven community vision plan that's based in eco-districts community modeling. And we've engaged hundreds of residents in each of these communities, figuring out what it is they love about the community and want to embrace, what it is they are maybe ready to build on and move to something different. And what we've found is that people want our communities to be sustainable. They want them to be more environmentally friendly and safe for the families here. But they want to make sure that as we make that transition, we're not leaving people behind, and that people of all types can benefit from it. Next slide. So here comes the Rivertown Resilience Project. We're looking at sustainability for our communities through 4 buckets here: workforce development and education, environmental and public health and safety, financial empowerment, and community leadership. Next slide. First up, we have an exciting proposal for a solar energy workforce program and training center in the Millvale Food and Energy Hub in Millvale. We have done teen solarship educational workforce development training programs before, and we want to expand that with the help of CCAC to make a formal credential program with debt-free training, certification, and apprenticeships. Next slide. That said, we know that the solar industry is not going to be able to provide jobs for everybody, and everybody doesn't necessarily want to work in solar. So we also want to expand other workforce development opportunities, expand our Circle Sharpsburg program so that it can reach all 3 communities with wraparound services, as well as our Sharpsburg partnership with the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, where we offer paid stipend for their 11-week masonry trade education training program. And that program leads to a guarantee of a $15 an hour job or more. Go on. This is the Etna Library and Community Center project. It's a key revitalization in the Main Street. Next slide. It's got affordable housing on the top. Next slide. And we also need to focus on food access and energy efficiency improvements, so we want to work on that. Next slide. Flooding is a huge problem, as you saw, so doing improvements to reduce the flood insurance rates is something we're focusing on. Next slide. And finally, we want to expand our civic leadership series into a microgrant program that reaches across all 3 communities, so people can learn how to be leaders, learn how to get involved, and design projects of their own. So that's the big spiel. I'm happy to talk more about how you might fit into this vision. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Brittany. And I appreciate both you and Marimba and everyone really adhering to the 5 minutes. We can certainly circle back to some of these presentations. Up next, I'd like to invite Terrace Verchek. He's the Executive Director for the Keysrox Community Development Corporation to present for Keysrox.
Great. Thank you, Becky. Good morning, everyone. It's really wonderful to be here. And Becky, thank you. So Keysrox Community Development Corporation actually serves the municipalities of Stowe Township and Keysrox, about 12,000 people. And in a demographic slice, this is a community that has tremendous potential, but is immersed in pretty extreme generational poverty. And that's what we're looking to unravel. Community development doesn't happen in a year or 2, or even 6 years. There's a reason that the master plans that our communities work from are 20-year plans. And it's really about bringing that plan to fruition is where we find ourselves today. This would be our 3rd NPP cycle. We have built the foundation. We have laid the groundwork. Now we're ready to finish the job. Next, please. So our approach has actually evolved from that original planning phase. We worked with the municipality to develop a plan, launched the CDC in 2004, mostly a place-based plan at that point. Through listening and interacting with our community, we now really marry place-based strategies with people-based strategies. And again, what has continually come into focus is that end game of breaking the cycle of generational poverty in our community by leveraging market opportunities to do so. Next, please. So how do we do that? So this Minority Business Accelerator is one of our newest and most exciting projects. And again, it's really come organically from listening to the community. And it's a group of Black-owned entrepreneurs that have come to us with gaps in their dreams to get to their dreams through build out in spaces, and then actually considering owning that property. So putting ownership in the hands of our small business owners means not only helping to break the cycle of generational poverty, but it also creates vibrant new anchors in our Main Street districts. These particular ones are with existing spaces. Next. But we're also building new spaces. And really, again, this goes back to that original plan. We knew that the Roxian wasn't an end, it was a means to an end. We've already seen new businesses being generated by the Roxian's success. Black Forge Coffee, some of the other ones that you see here. But really in the next 6 years, we're bringing this home. We have the downtown of properties assembled that you see listed here. It's about securing an anchor developer and ultimately constructing new multi-story businesses, typically with residential above retail commercial uses. And we're actually launching our first affordable housing project in a 6-story building coming this year. So in the next 6 years, we're seeing all this come out of the ground. We're creating affordable living opportunities for our residents. We're attracting new residents, and we're creating new commercial spaces that those entrepreneurs locally can take advantage of. Next, please. We're also marrying this with a really fantastic green space initiative with working in partnership with the city of Pittsburgh. Chartiers Creek that you see there is actually the border between Keysrox and the city. This really grand plan has grown, again, out of partnership to actually connect the two communities through a pedestrian bridge to a renewed Sheridan Park. It gives our residents a much needed green space amenity, but it also connects us Western Pittsburgh neighborhoods to our downtown. Next, please. And then this is really the biggest partnership that's grown over the last 5 years and is now coming into fruition and again coming into completion in the next 6. It's Grows Stowe Rocks. We have built very intentionally this collective impact partnership with our school district, with social services and others, really focused on creating a robust workforce readiness infrastructure in our community. And that starts K through 12. It's embedded in our schools. It's working with industry partners like yourselves to create something that really prepares our young people to succeed and extends into adulthood. Next, please. And again, last but not least, that end of the rainbow of home ownership, of creating generational wealth, where generational wealth replaces generational poverty. We have our first pilot project that's coming out of the ground in the next 2 years. We'll have 10 new homes available, renovated homes available affordably, directed towards our residents. So now we're building that pipeline of local residents to take advantage of home ownership. Next. And that's it. And again, I want to emphasize that this all happens in the next 6 years. We're teed up. We're ready to finish the job. We need you to finish the job. And one thing we do have experience, our corporate partners in our NPP are not just check writers. They are very meaningfully engaged and involved with all of our work. So we hope that you'll join us in that journey. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Terrace. I really appreciate it. And again, I thank you all for being so concise and really keeping to the times. We want to be sensitive that it's a lot of information to everyone to absorb. At this time, I'd like to invite Ruth Ann Ulmer. She's the board president for the Hilltop Economic Development Corporation to speak about their work in Mount Oliver and Knoxville.
Thank you, Becky. As Becky said, my name is Ruth Ann Ulmer. I'm the president of AGDC. Along with me, I have Rick Hopkinson, who's the manager of Mount Oliver Borough, and Aaron Sukanik, who is the executive director of the Alliance. Who are we? Well, we're Knoxville, the community in the city and Mount Oliver Borough. Next slide. Our team is made up of the AGDC, which we are the project managers in the lead. We believe in connecting. We are the boots on the ground, the community representation, and we have no staff. We believe it's a model that we partner with the Hilltop Alliance and Brashear as our consultants. We want all the money to go right to the communities instead of having staff around us. We are, as I say, boots on the ground. Next slide. Why are we here? For our community conditions, as you can see, we have over a 50% vacancy rate of our businesses and 75% failure rate. You look at our community services, where 48% of our youth live in poverty, 31% are food insecure, and 12% are senior citizens. You can look at this slide and see why we need it. Next slide. Currently, what we're doing with the partnership between the Mount Oliver Borough, which we have a tremendous relationship with, as well as Knoxville Council, we have these various programs going on. We gave out 30,000 in facades this year, as well as numerous promotions and events that we have had. Next slide. You can see some of our businesses here, hard at work and thriving. Next slide. The Hilltop Alliance is chosen because of all these great things that they do, but also their vacancy rate was 40% years ago, and now it's 5%. We want those same statistics. Next slide shows you some of their goals and some of the great things they've done in the community, fixing up some of the properties. Next slide is our other consultant, the Brashear Association, 103 years young, and all these wonderful things that they do and work with us. Our holiday assistance this year was 3 times the need, especially during these COVID times. So next slide shows us that what we're doing now, we're in an SPP program. We have Hilltop Alliance doing our housing stabilization and Brashear doing our community services. All our goals are met, as you can see it. And in addition to that, we finished our Allegheny Together strategic plan, which will be our guide for the next 6 years. And what are we going to do in the next slide? We're going to start and hopefully work on an NPP program. We believe in the 3-pronged stool approach with commercial district revitalization, housing stabilization, and community services. All 3 service each other. We've worked on these programs and have had great success. The one I want to point out is we're adding a teen and tween program. Students are left behind. We will have 25 students from the city of Pittsburgh chosen to help them be successful and support them. And we're excited about adding food access. Next slide is how we're going to start to do that. We have 3 opportunities here. We have what we call our good program for the $250,000 invested. You can see that we're going to do our new business, commercial property renovations, all those things that make importance to the businesses, plus our property maintenance. And you can see the numbers of the individual case managements we're going to do. But we would like to do more, and we would like to get better on the next slide. And with the next slide, what it allows us to do is add more numbers to what we want to do. You need to understand that we are very boots on the ground, goal oriented, and numbers. We need to show you investments are really making a difference. And in this a better program, we can add fresh food in corner stores and work with the Hilltop Urban Farm, which is a farm above Bex Run Road. It's really going to help in partnership. And then we're going to be able to advocate for acquisition and redevelopment of vacant properties. If you saw on the previous slides, one of the things that we're working on is that database to show where everything is and the needs and how it really is out there. But you know, everybody always wants to be better. Everybody wants to have the final goal. But when you get to the next level, which is our one that, next slide, please. Okay, is what we want to do is have the best. You know, everybody wants to be the best. You can see our numbers will increase, so I'm not going to repeat that. But what we'll be able to do is not only add these, but actually do an acquisition of vacant properties and affordable housing. Next slide, please. So here's what we've told you in this short time. We've told you who we are, the AGDC, Hilltop, and the Alliance. AGDC has no staff. We believe in boots on the ground and utilizing other organizations for their staff. We've shown you our need and our vacancy rates and our poverty statistics. Our consultants are Brashear and Hilltop, our track record with the SPP. And now going on to an NPP, continuing the commercial district revitalization, housing stabilization, and community services. We can do good, better, and best. We hope to do best so we can add the fresh food and affordable housing. We need your help to serve this community, especially during these COVID times, which has made it even harder to do. We hope you choose to work with us because we're going to get it done. We will meet the goals that we show you. We will communicate with you. We will show you how your dollars are very impactful in our neighborhood. Maybe have a little fun along the way, but really make a difference for the people that we serve. And we welcome the opportunity for continued discussions to get into much more detail on all these slides. Thank you.
So last but not least, so you've all heard from our communities who have really talked about some great plans and things that they are doing to really move their communities forward, to overcome their barriers, and to help make our whole region a thriving place to prosper. For those of you who are able to or interested in tax credits, I do want to set the reminder that the tax credit application is due May 28th. Fortunately for the businesses, that means that all you need to do is really a letter of intent by that time with one of our communities. The communities take on the burden of putting the application together and getting it submitted. So it's a very simple step and a very simple process if you would like to invest in any of our communities. As you can see here on the table, we have all the communities that presented today and the different programs they presented on listed. We will also be sending a recording of their presentations as well as the community's contact information out after this, so you'll be able to review it again And for those of you still new to the tax credit program and may have questions on whether or not your company can participate or how it works, I am more than happy to meet with you. And you can see my contact information down there at the bottom, bbear@AlleghenyConference.org, and talk through. It's a very simple process. Of course, we want to thank our major event sponsors, Giant Eagle, PNC, Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, and PPG for bringing this together.